know of as of yet. How do you look at that aspect as altering in some way how we look at this year's Masters?
Yeah, the landscape of professional golf has definitely been shaken and put on its head in so many different ways. And the live aspect of it is not going away, and they're certainly going to be around for as long as we can imagine. And as Yasser has said, I mean, he can hold his breath as long as anyone because he's got the money and he can withstand anything longer than the PGA Tour. And there's going to be a deal. I mean, there just is. How it's going to be structured, where it's going to be. I think the PGA Tour has lost a lot of negotiating points as the time goes on, and I think they will continue to lose, especially if another top 5 player ends up going to live. So I think it's in the Tour's best interest to get this resolved, and why they still have some strength in negotiations. But not to say that they don't or are never going to have. I'm just saying they're losing points the longer it goes on. And as far as LIV goes, the world ranking issue is going to be something for them until they get to 72 holes and until they have more than 48 to 55 guys starting in their field. And you just can't. I mean, the aspect of the competition, the meritocracy of golf and all that, I think that's one of the things that's hurt LIV on its side is the fact that, they are only playing 54 holes. Are there some very, very good players there? Yes, there are. But again, I think on their side of it down the road, there could be some acquiescence to, we're going to have to play more than 54 holes. And John Rahm has said that recently. Yeah. He said it this last week. He said, this 54-hole thing is hurting us, and we need to take a look at that. And he's got a pretty big, microphone over there on the LIV side.
Yeah, Tripp, you mentioned John Rahm. We talked earlier about some of the betting favorites in the Masters, especially with maybe Rory McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler. But maybe who are some dark horses that maybe not a lot of people are talking about right now that you think, given the course and the conditions, could maybe surprise some people and hang around near the top and possibly win this thing?
Well, with the conditions, it's certainly, you would think, going to be favoring more of the scrambling type player, which, of course, people say, well, the Scottie Scheffler hits it so good. People don't understand that he actually is one of the best pitchers and chippers on the PGA Tour, too. But a dark horse, that I'm going to call is probably Cameron Smith. I think early on he looks very, very good, and he's a guy who you would think on this golf course, the way he putts and chips and the way he plays his wedges, he could be very, very dangerous. And I think he's someone that not on a lot of people's radar, although he is battling a bit of a stomach flu, according to the news. So if he can get through that, but quickly he's out 2 under very early on in this first round, and he looks very good with the putter.
Talking to Tripp Eisenhower of the Golf Channel. Coach Bill McDonald's in studio with us here, longtime Gamecock men's golf coach as the Masters is underway. Chip, when you look at a guy, and Bill mentioned Victor Hovland earlier, I also read about Victor, though, he's trying to remake his swing right now. Is that a recipe for concern, success? Is it all that big a deal when a guy of his stature feels like he's not quite there, and then here's the Masters?
Yeah, certainly. But here's the thing: he's remaking his swing to what it was a couple of years ago. So it's not like the Tiger who tried to remake his swing 5 different times into something completely different. He's trying to go back to what he feels like was better. And I will tell you, when I first saw this young man play on the Korn Ferry Tour, I said, this guy is as good as I've ever seen with driving the golf ball. And his iron play was exceptional. So if he's going back to how he was hitting it then, he's going to be just fine. Because now he can chip and pitch. That was what he couldn't do. And, the putting, the mid-range putting 5 to 15 feet, he was not very good with that when I saw him on the Korn Ferry Tour. but those parts of his game have become miles better. Part of the reason why he won so much money and won the FedEx Cup last year on the PGA Tour.
Trip, what do you think about I was mentioning earlier how much of a break I think these guys got that got to play early today, because it looks like they set the golf course up expecting maybe higher winds, worse weather than what they've gotten, and it seems pretty gettable. Should be drying out, and it's obviously pretty gusty as we know, but someone like DeChambeau's really, with his game, really benefited from playing early, don't you think?
Oh, gosh, yeah. And, I mean, he is he's evolved quite a bit from the guy who said he played a par 67 golf course when he was back in the day, and so that he was just going to tear this place apart. And, karma had a way of reminding him that Augusta has a way of humbling you at times. But he does not look humble today. And you're exactly right, Bill. I think that, looking at the winds right now, they're starting to get up. They're starting to pick up. And they're forecast tomorrow as well. So certainly the players that got out early are taking advantage of it. But the ball is bouncing a little bit, too. I think the amount of rain that they were expecting, the heavy stuff went south of Augusta. So I think tomorrow you'll see a little tougher setup. I think, to your point, Bill, that they were expecting, much tougher winds and the ball being a little, not bouncing quite as much.
Tripp, you're in TV, so you understand limited time. I got about a little under a minute and a half for you. Bill McDonald goes out to Augusta National today. He's shooting, 76?
I hadn't played with Bill in a long time, but he knows his way around Augusta. We got to play there in college, so he knows his way around. He knows the crafty shots. See, that's the thing. With maturity, you get a little shorter, but wisdom. So right. I'd give the over under at 76.
All right. Yeah. I feel good about it. I do. Hey, listen, man, appreciate it. I thank Coach for putting this together with you, and I'm serious. I'd love to lean on your expertise here in the future. We got the Heritage course down on Hilton Head next week, and a lot of great golf to come this spring and summer. So let's do it again sometime soon.
You got it. Look, nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And
Thanks,
Bill speaks highly, and I know there's a vice versa there. So good stuff. Tripp, appreciate you, man. That is Tripp Eisenhower of the Golf Channel. Did I sell you short? 74 maybe?
I would take a 76 right now. And
do you remember what you shot when you played?
The first time I played it, I shot 72. And I don't think I ever broke par there. I've played actually pretty well there, considering. I mean, most of the time I go, I'm shaking like a leaf on the first tee, just almost afraid to take a divot.
72.
But February of 1985.
Nice. We'll talk more about the Masters with Coach and reminisce about that as the postgame show continues. 11 minutes in front of 4 o'clock on this Thursday afternoon. Welcome back into the postgame show. Jay Phillips, Elijah Campbell with you. Bill McDonald is with us as well, the longtime Gamecock men's golf coach. SEC championships are coming up down in Georgia in a couple of weeks. We'll get a quick note on Coach's team and how they're doing. And thanks again to Trip Eisenhower of the Golf Channel for joining us in the last segment. One thing I didn't get to with him that I want to get to with you real quick, we mentioned it at the top of the show today, and that's the rollback measures, as they're calling it. Basically, guys are bigger, stronger, equipment is lighter, balls are made to travel farther through the air, and now pro golf, at least, doesn't want that. So tell us more about what, I mean, do you just make a heavier ball? Or what does this mean, a rollback measure? They want balls to travel, I guess I saw anywhere from 15 to 25 yards less off the tee.
Yeah, more or less from the 30s or 40s to the actually up to the 90s. You had, I think, the golf ball 5 or 6 yard improvement in terms of the distance. Obviously, the technology improved to where they were more durable and different things like that. But the yardages that they're getting now, it's like 30 yards more in just the last 20 years, or 25 years. So that's what they're going after, is that number, trying to get that dial back to where it was in the 90s or early 2000s.
And I realize that a lot of the technology aspects of golf are not necessarily put into place for the professionals. Because golf, that's one of the reasons that golf is so popular. We can all go play. It's just that guys like me don't want to go out and shoot a 110. We'd at least like to shoot a 90.
Right.
We're not going to shoot 68. And that's but that same carryover then applies to these men and women that are fantastic at it. And suddenly, I mean, the difference is that nobody's out going shooting 58s. I mean, you get the occasional great score. But golf courses have managed, at least in tournament play, have managed to either lengthen or, we all know now that Augusta had to add the rough and all that kind of stuff. But I guess it's good for the game to do this.
We're going to have, I think my personal opinion is that it is going to be good for the game, simply because, and I'm an example of it, my swing speed has decreased so much through just time and getting older that the new technology, I don't swing it fast enough to take advantage of it.
Right.
So you're talking about having to swing the club at 115 miles an hour or faster to really be able to max out with the golf ball today and the shaft technology and what they're doing with everything else. So I think for the average Joe, they're not going to see a lot of difference in this, because they don't get a lot of difference out of the new stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's only really appealing or applying to the really high end amateur max speed type player. And I think I heard Jack Nicklaus talking about it, like he's been trying to get the USGA and RNA to address this since the 70s, and so it's not. I'm at the point where I want to see these measures, to see exactly what they do, and also to Fred Ridley's point. I mean, we don't want the Augusta just to keep buying up chunks of Augusta Country Club next door to have the golf tournament.
He basically said this week in his address that we can maybe go to 8,000, but we really don't want to go past 8,000. And this year it's playing at more than 7,600 yards.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, 30 years ago, it was at 6,800. I mean, they've added so much length. I got an easy solution. Just make every golf course 6,000 yards and we're fine.
Well, you still see a premium on if you have wind, if you have firm, fast greens. Some of these courses, they have some rough. There's still things that make the game. The game's still really, really hard.
Just put bunkers everywhere.
It's just yeah, right. It's maybe we need to have some animals attacking players or something to make it more. Instead of
rabid wolverines every fourth hole. You don't know when they're coming out.
From the sport that brought you Tiger Woods brings you real tigers on the golf course.
I mean, there's other things we could do maybe to make the game more difficult.
Now we're getting somewhere. This is what this show is about here. We're giving
solutions.
Solutions. That's what we do here. When we see problems, we offer solutions. Real quick, I know you guys just got back, finished kind of middle of the pack at a place, but I know your top guy is hurt right now, which is very unfortunate this late in the season. But an elbow injury for a golfer spells trouble.
Nathan Franks won the Schenkel and then has a cracked elbow, hairline fracture. So we're hoping to everything. He's ahead of schedule. We're hoping to have him back for the SEC championship. But I also want to give a shout out to Alex Hamilton, who's running the South Carolina Golf Association. Their golf ball is tonight.
Yeah.
USC Alumni Center at 6:30. So
cool.
I'll be over there.
That's always a fun time.
Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you for helping us with Trip. That'll be a lot of fun. Good luck. You got an event this weekend too, right?
Yep. Going to play up in Wofford.
There you go. And then the SEC is coming up real soon. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, that's Bill McDonald. Billy Mac Golf to follow on Twitter. We'll get you updated on what's going on at the Masters, the latest on the Kentucky search, and a lot of Carolina football to talk about with Eric Kimry coming up in the 4th.